spacious.
Too much space. I'll come over here, I guess. All right, we'll start with the opening statement from Coach.
Please don't take pictures of my notes.
I can't see that far.
Like always, I appreciate you guys coming out and supporting Penn State football. I thought we had a great crowd. This area has always been really good to us from a travel perspective, from an alumni-based perspective. So I thought that was significant in the game. I thought offensively, probably the most important thing is we were able to stay on schedule. First and second down, we were efficient, created manageable third down situations. I thought the O-line did a great job of protecting the quarterback. Drew was comfortable moving through his progressions and using his eyes to open people. And we grinded out the run game. They played an aggressive defense. They played a ton of cover zero. No safeties, overload the box for the run game, overload the protections in the pass game. And we were able to get a lot of guys involved, which was good. Defensively, except for the penalties and the block punt that turned into a penalty, which should have been a huge play in the game in our direction. We were able to keep them way off schedule. Exactly what we talked about doing and what we did today on offense, they had a hard time doing, running the ball. I think I don't know how it finished up, but for most of the game, I think they were negative in rushing yards. Where they get their run game is really in their screen game. We knew that, but it just wasn't overly effective. He threw a ton of completions, obviously, but just not a whole lot of yards after the catch, not a whole lot of yards once they did catch it. And then obviously the turnovers have been huge. That's the thing that I'm proud of, in terms of fundamentals. And you talk about fundamental football, you talk about the most important stat in football, it's two of them. It's turnover ratio and explosives, and we've done a really good job with the turnovers, creating them and protecting the football on offense. That was huge. Then special teams, the big kick return was huge. That's an explosive play. And then also the field goals. Falcons has really done a nice job and has gotten very comfortable, and that's been a real positive for us. So good win. We won and we got better this week, and looking forward to leaving here, getting out of this press conference, getting on the bus and heading back to Happy Valley.
Brennan, then Sauber.
James, you've been talking a lot about wanting that second or third receiver to kind of step up. What did it mean for your offense for Dante to do what he did, and what did it mean for Dante to have that kind of game?
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody, right? That's what you want. You want Dante to have the type of success that he wants to have in terms of helping our team be successful. Having another guy that people got to worry about on film, it changes everything. When there's one guy that people are concerned about, a lot of defenses can figure out a way to make that challenging. But when now there's multiple guys, the tight ends, multiple receivers that are making plays, it's a real positive. Hopefully it's a big confidence booster for him and for us as well, and we can build on it.
Sauber, then Rich.
James, you mentioned obviously Dante and everything, and Drew working through his progressions. What was the biggest difference between this week's passing offense and previous weeks where maybe you couldn't get going at this level?
Yeah, I think what I already mentioned, our efficiency on first and second down. So we stayed out of third and obvious passing situations.
Rich, then Allie.
James, Chop was dressed for pregame even though he was listed as out. It seemed he was pretty emotional before the game. I was just wondering, what impact did he have being on the sideline? It seemed like after one of the first defensive plays, somebody flashed 44, and I was just wondering what impact he had from the sideline.
Yeah, we traveled him from a rehab standpoint. There's certain things when you have certain injuries that you got to do to work back and be able to get into get back onto the field. So being able to get him out, be able to run him, be able to get some movement stuff without any contact is part of his kind of protocol to come back. So that's why we were able to do that. As you guys know, in the old days, that may be a little bit of like trying to kind of hide who's healthy and who's not. We have to turn that information in, so we weren't kind of doing that. But obviously, this is a big game for him. He had a huge game last year. Not having one of our most explosive players on defense and still being able to play the way we did tonight, those extra reps for Nittany Lions was huge. And we wanted to play well not only for Penn State, but also for Chop. We wanted him to understand that we were playing well for him.
Allie, then Pickle.
KJ talked at practice this week. I'm sorry.
I was just telling you that you were okay.
Thanks. KJ talked at practice this week about not feeling like you guys played Penn State football against Indiana and wanting to play your own game. Do you feel like you played this on your terms, and what were those terms today?
I guess I disagree with that. I mean, again, I get we're all just totally focused on us, but you look at the scoreboard. You look at games. There are people battling and losing games they're not supposed to lose, or battling with people every single week. We're just totally focused on Penn State. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's a long season. You got to find a way to get wins. You got to find a way to get wins. We got to win last week. We built on it. We got better, and we got better this week. And I guess I think that's something that's really important. We've won a decent amount, not as much as what everybody wants. I get that. But I also think we've taken winning for granted a little bit. We win games, and you come into the press conference, and it doesn't necessarily feel like that. And I want to make sure the things I can control. I can't control the press conference. I can't control outside of the press conference, but I can control lash building. And I want people feeling good after wins. That doesn't mean we don't have things to correct and learn from and get better, but I want to feel good for wins because they're hard to get, and there's examples that you guys could use as well every week of people that don't win the way they're supposed to win or don't win at all. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to be happy for 15 minutes and then get on to the next opponent.
Pickle, then Neil.
You mentioned Nittany Lions, but just doing a quick count, I think you played maybe 10 defensive linemen somewhere in that 9 to 12 area. Why do you think that group played so well tonight, and what does that depth do for you guys moving into the last 3 weeks of the regular season?
Yeah, so the depth has been huge. As you guys know, coming into the season, I felt like it's the best depth we've had, really since we've been here. Not having a mean or Chop now for 2 weeks, that's been big. So hopefully we'll have both of those guys back, and now you got a Nittany Lions who's played and gained confidence from that. So that'll be really big. One of the things I'm most excited about. Are we going Monday?
Yes.
Monday press conference. Everybody's excited except for you.
Neil and then Johnny.
James, did you guys make any adjustments with Drew? It seemed like he really put some air under the ball at times, threw some really nice balls. Is that something that you guys have been working on, that part of his game?
No, it just comes back to the cover zero. When you get cover zero, there's no safety back there. So if there's two safeties, you can't put any air on it. If there's one safety, you can put, it's almost like in golf terms, in terms of what club you're going to use. You can put a little bit of air on it. When there's no safety, you can put a ton of air on it because there's nobody. It's truly one-on-one. He's got no help whatsoever. So being able to put air under it versus cover zero, those DBs can act confident all they want. When you have the entire 53 and a third to cover, and that ball's in the air and you can't find it and they know where it's going, that's an advantage for us, especially with some of the height that we have with some of our tight ends and a few of the receivers.
Johnny, then Audrey.
James back here in the corner. Looked like Abdul maybe had his most complete game of the season. What does it do for your defense when he's playing at such a high level like that?
Yeah, as we all know, he's an explosive guy. Came on the scene last year, kind of out of nowhere, and kind of became the buzz and talk of the season, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. And for him to play well, within the constraints of our defense, allows us to be really successful. When Abdul's playing well, and Kobe and Kurt and the other guys that rotate in as well, I mean, Dom DeLuca is the man. I mean, he's the man. Rojas, what about Rojas? I mean, it's pretty cool seeing those guys come in and make plays. So yeah, it's when Abdul's playing well and that unit's playing well, then we're difficult to deal with, especially back to the point about the depth that we have on the D-line too.
Last two, Audrey and then Andrew.
James, you got the two, quarterbacks on the field together. How do you feel like the Perula package went, and was there why did you feel like you wanted to use it tonight?
Yeah, like I've said to you guys before, we've had it in for a while now, and sometimes you're just looking for the right opportunity and time to use it. Wasn't overly productive. But I still think it causes some issues, and it causes the next opponents that we're going to play. It's one more thing on film that they have to deal with now. Some things we got to get cleaned up, but overall, I'm happy that we were able to get it out there and use it.
Andrew.
Coach back here. Drew was smiling a lot today. He obviously played a really good game. How nice is it for you as the coach to see a quarterback just look absolutely comfortable, absolutely happy after a game where he's been frustrated at times this year?
Yeah, it's all my guys. You know, I want the coaches to feel good. I want the players to achieve their goals individually and collectively. I take a lot of pride in that. I want Dante Cephas to achieve his dreams. That's something that's really, really important to me, that this is in Penn State's best interest, and it's in as many guys in that locker room's best interest as possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen in the timing that they want it to happen, but I want our guys to achieve all their dreams, and I want them to get a damn good education along the way as well. And then sometimes they take that for granted until after the fact. But I'm proud, and I'm happy to see guys smiling and enjoying themselves and having fun. There's nothing worse than getting a win and going to the locker room and somebody's upset and somebody's mad. I mean, that's not the time for that. But when you got 125 guys on the team, there's going to be somebody that wasn't happy with the amount of reps or opportunities they got.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Go, go.